The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
TV party tonight! What? TV party tonight!
Oh, we got nothing better to do than watch TV and have a couple of brews.
Don't want to talk about anything else.
We don't want to know.
We're dedicated
To our favorite shows.
Oh, my circuits!
Everybody loves hip photos.
Scary dog!
Dancing at Blurnsville.
Futurama!
Hello. Good evening and welcome to TV Party Tonight. I'm your host, Alexis Hejna. Joining me, he's not normally my ride or die, but tonight I'll make an exception. Going by Sweet Tea, Mr. Jayson Teasley. Hello.
Hey, what's up? Ready to strap in and see what Dom Toretto and oh wait, that's the other racing game. Yeah, that's the other. No, we're going to strap in and see what Twisted Metal Season 2 is all about today.
Yeah, this isn't F1. This isn't Fast and Furious because tonight we're talking carnage. We're talking cars. We are talking clowns. It's Twisted Metal Season 2. All right. If you've been with us for a while, you know that we reviewed Twisted Metal Season 1 back in, I believe it was 2023. I remember that because that was a night I was recovering from COVID. So if you watch it, you were probably wondering, hey, why did the host keep ducking her head out of the camera every so often? It's because I was coughing like crazy, and you all don't need to see that. But tonight we're talking about Season 2, which started on July 31st, 2025, picks up right where we left off with Season 1. John Doe is living in New San Francisco, but desperate to escape to reunite with his beloved Quiet, and surprisingly running into the leader of the Dolls, Miss Holtcase, aka his long-lost sister, Krista. But reunions are gonna be short because it doesn't take long for the mysterious Calypso to announce the beginning of the tournament. It'll be a no-holds-bar battle to the death, and the winner is granted their heart's desire, their one wish. So we have John, Quiet, and Krista entering the tournament along with a new sidekick, a teenager named Mayhem, as they run into new characters, old characters, and of course, the clown driving the ice cream truck, Mr. Sweet Tooth.
This season, I thought it started out slow. I thought the first two episodes were really slow, but once we got the announcement of the tournament, excuse me, it picked up. It picked up graciously and very rapidly, and we got introduced to a lot of fan favorites from the game, a lot of fanfare, and a lot of fun and carnage.
Absolutely. This show is campy fun, soaked in blood and brains. It is over the top. They do not hold back, and it is absolutely hilarious. Probably the big name joining our staff this season is Mr. Anthony Kerrigan playing Calypso. If those of you who have been out to see movies this summer and haven't been living under a rock, you might recognize him. Mr. Kerrigan played Elemental Man, aka Metamorpho, in the new Superman film. Kerrigan normally ends up playing villains because the man suffers from, what is it called? Aplosia areata. Essentially,
Bless you.
I'm sorry?
Bless you.
Hilarious. This is a condition that causes him to lose most of his facial and body hair. So he uses it a lot of times for benefits in his acting. He's able to work with a lot of prosthetics and makeup without having to worry about it. You know, I mean, how often have you had like gum stuck in your hair or your mustache or your eyebrows?
Right.
And as much fun as it was seeing him play the good guy with Metamorpho and Superman, he is so great as Calypso. Now, I re-listened to our season 1 review. We were so off on our
Yes, we
prediction
were.
for who would play him. We were thinking like Mark Hamill or some other big name like that. It's like, wow, okay, no one saw this coming, but oh my God, he is great. This man eats up every scene. I don't know who's eating more, Sweet Tooth or Calypso. They are just devouring the scenery.
Yes, especially the prom scene. The prom scene, Calypso is front and center, full on display. You get to see his menacing side, but then the quirky side that lures everybody's defenses down, that kind of think that everything's okay, only for him to pull the rug out from underneath him and tie it into the next challenge. But yeah, Calypso this season was a huge focal point. From the game, everybody knows that he's the pretty much the main antagonist through all the games, and just the way they wrote him this season, they could have wrote him as a really mustache twirling villain that would have been like, oh, you know, but they gave him character, they gave him backstory, and the backstory that we see it came out of left field, and I loved it, especially with the tie-in, the promotional tie-in, how it tied into NBC.
That was great.
And how the BattleBots reference.
We already have the eyes of the world. It's called Friends.
Yeah, because it takes us back to like in the 90s. It takes us back to like mid 90s. But yeah, I mean, he chews up so much scenery, and I think that this season all hinged on him, because if he was just a mustache twirling villain that was going to put up this tournament, they could have just had him cameo here and there. But he was front and center. He was in just about every episode, had something to do, and got to show his personality, got to show his acting chops, and got to just make this evil character partially humanitized him and brought him to our living rooms via his amazing acting skills, his amazing presence, and just his quirkiness.
Definitely. I mean, I love the scene where it's like, well, at least they didn't do the laugh. Oh, never mind. There it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, that I swear to God, that laugh, I don't know if he came up with it or somebody said, okay, you know that one scene from the final Twilight movie with Michael Sheen? We want you to channel that. And it's like, I don't care if you see Twilight or not, you know what scene I'm talking about. So, because that's what I heard. I was like, oh, okay. Somebody go check and see if Michael Sheen's dead. I think Anthony Kerrigan's channeling him. We have Anthony Mackie and Stephanie Beatrice coming back as Joe and Quiet. These two are so much fun. They have incredible chemistry. I know a lot of us were worried we weren't going to see them get together again, or they were going to be apart for most season 2, but they are reunited right off the bat. We see they still, I would say at the beginning of the season, I don't know if they really love each other, but they are definitely in love by the end of it. They're a family. They are so happy to be together. So we get the introduction. Well, we were introduced to her, but we didn't see her with the mask off. Krista, John's sister. Oh, we find out John's birth name is Lionel, of all things, but he doesn't go by that. And Krista is head of the Dolls, Dollface being one of the prominent characters who has been featured in multiple Twisted Metal games.
Yeah, and I like how they've done it, and they tied everything in, because you had the Amiskindi of how season 1 ended, with Quiet just driving off, and being stopped, and you just see all these girls in these like porcelain doll mask, and you just hear, so you know my brother, and you're like, wait, hold up, and it leaves you on that cliffhanger on the Quiet side of like, hold up, what's going to happen here? Is it going to be tension? Is it going to be, is it going to work out? What's going to happen? And then you got, on the other side, you got John, who's in New San Francisco, living what he thinks is the best life. And we kind of find out that Nev Campbell is gone without
Okay.
much explanation.
Okay, this was we knew that Nev Campbell was not coming back. We saw that she wasn't cast for the second season, so it's like, okay, fine. Well, I think a lot of us were like, oh yeah, they were probably going to recast her. We find out this was not so much a recast. It turns out there are multiple Ravens. We're kind of pulling like a dark side thing here from the DC comic books, and that there are multiple Ravens, and we have our new Raven, who is played by Patty Guggenheim, those who may remember her from She-Hulk as Madison with 2 N's, 1 Y, but it's not where you think.
Yes, and
I'm sorry. The minute I found out it was her, like, if I don't insert that line in there, I'm going to be very disappointed in myself.
Yeah, and she is still with one. She's still traveling through the multiverse.
No kidding.
What was the show that there's not? Oh God, what was it?
What show?
That she spoiled.
Oh, hang on a second. Hang on. I got it. Sopranos. Spoiled the Sopranos.
Yeah, and and she's still spoiling the Sopranos, but yeah, I mean, we find out that Nev Campbell was unceremoniously outed of New San Francisco, and a quick throwaway, and we've got the new Raven, who is given a weird backstory why she's entering. Why she's grooming John to enter a Twisted Metal tournament and get a wish, which is really weird because you don't really get the announcement of the Twisted Metal tournament until episode 3, but she's grooming him to enter the tournament in episode 1 and 2. So the timing is a little weird, and I noticed that the full announcement was not till episode 3, when Sweet Tooth has killed the big baby. And
oh my God, the dude with the umbilical cord, that was some messed up shit.
Yeah, so and then you get to talking, and they talk about going through, and so Sweet Tooth get his name, live in infamy, and then you get the announcement. Calypso announces the tournament. So,
well, actually, Calypso announced the tournament in the first episode. But we find in the previous season, it's kind of established the Raven, or at least the Nev Campbell Raven and Calypso knew each other, hence why she was able to get that package from him. So I'm just going to take a wild guess that she was privy to the information before the broadcast went out.
Well, we can go with that. I mean, it's a throwaway thing, but then you get Johnny, you get his hijinks trying to escape. Once he finds out that New San Francisco isn't what he thought it would be, the whole pizza delivery thing is kind of funny, and just the fact that he's playing an old cabinet Twisted Metal game.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's funny, and he's got a broke arm because he had to be a smartass. And then he discovers his love for the Babysitters Club, which I thought was absolutely hilarious, especially when he gets to the book that he doesn't have.
I read those books when I was a kid.
And, you just see kind of him crash out because there's one, he needs one, and he's reading them because he has nothing else to do. He's basically on home confinement, so... Mm-hmm. In his old childhood home. So he finds his sister's Babysitter Club, reads them, and gets up to, I think it's like 169, and he's like, but what happens? I can't find it. And then come to find out she's hollowed it out, put weed in it and everything, and it's like, and he's crashing out because he wants to know what happened, and he reads the next book, but he starts reading it, and he's like, where does this person come from? I don't understand. I got to go back and read it. And you just see, it's just that completion mentality that a lot of us have. That when we're introduced to something that if we have to skip, like we miss an episode of a show or something, that it just we crash out trying to put the pieces together real quick as we try to continue to go through.
Yeah, that's why Dave Filoni makes so much money on Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are introduced with a couple other characters again, but here was my other question about this new Raven. So again, we're kind of doing this thing where there's a multitude of Ravens. Was this the right way to go, or should they have just recast and just said she was the original Raven? It wouldn't have been the first time that a show had to recast a character over a season. That happens all the time. And I'm pretty sure the fans would have just been like, okay, so that's Raven now. Okay, got it. But what did you like this idea of the multiple Ravens?
I kind of like it because it gives you that backstory, because as we learn later on, when Raven dies, she's just going to be replaced with another one. It gives you that ability to, you're not painting yourself into the corner of, well, this character dies. Well, no, that person died, but there's always another Raven to fill the void.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in the case of Dollface. Spoiler alert. 3, 2, 1. Okay, here we go. Just like in the thing of Dollface, when she dies, and she talks about this, the mantle of Dollface is to be taken up by someone else.
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be a Dollface. The person behind the mask is replaceable. The mantra, the presence, the aura will always remain. And I think that's a good thing, especially in a show like this, where you do have such mayhem, death, carnage, and everything. You're not getting rid of a character, you're just getting rid of the person. And the character lives on.
It also works because we've seen a lot of the characters that are done in different styles throughout the games. There are some characters, right. I mean, you look at Mr. Grimm, who has been re-envisioned multiple ways over the various Twisted Metal games. So, I mean, at one point, yeah, it's literally a skeleton. At one point, it's a dude is kind of a ghost rider.
Right.
And other times, yeah, it's so I agree with you. Actually, that does kind of work, and it does also open the doorway. It's like, well, maybe we want to bring these characters back, but you killed them off. We killed off that person, not the title.
We didn't kill off the aura. We killed off the person, but not the meaning behind the mask.
Mm-hmm.
And you just brought that up. Mr. Grimm was a pleasant surprise this season too. The multiple personalities was very interesting, and the actor who pulled it off reminded me of a. I'm trying to think of his name. Give me 1 second. But yeah, I mean he played the character very well, and. I'm going to tell you who he reminded me of, and once I say this, you're going to say yes. A young Tim Roth.
A young who?
Tim Roth.
Oh my God, yeah, he does look like a young Tim Roth. And I'm with you. The actor did a great job the way he's able to switch through the characters. This isn't just a case of he was dubbed over with different voices. Everything about his presentation changes. Whenever
body language, tone, everything. Yeah, and I think that was you go back to the lore of the Twisted Metal. It's just he's basically a reaper of souls. He's basically death. He reaps souls, and he just confines them. Allah Shang Sun for all the Mortal Kombat fans out there, and he just basically takes the soul of whoever he kills, and they just. But also, it plays on a different aspect of it because he is internally fighting with these people. There is the personalities pop out randomly, and it's like a struggle and it really reminds me of somebody with schizophrenia. And multiple personalities. It's just that struggle is there, and he portrays it so well that you really don't know what is to come and how it's going to play out, and it keeps you invested in the character throughout the entire series.
Absolutely. We get to see a lot of other fan favorite characters. I think my favorite one, at least based on the intro alone, was definitely Axel. We
Oh,
have
I loved Axel.
Axel
Axel was phenomenal.
half man, half car. The way he literally rolls into the viewpoint, and the character's just like, "What the hell is that?" The actor is so big and imposing. He is terrifying with or without the wheels. And again, we get fun. Almost all of these characters are given backstory, and if they're not a full backstory, we at least get a lot of time to develop them. We have another writer, Vermin, who is just a bug-obsessed lady who drives a pest control truck, played by a hilarious comedian. And even though we don't learn her backstory or anything, we spend a lot of time with her, and we really get to know her. And she is just so bizarrely crazy, but it's hilarious, and you actually do feel something when she dies.
Well, you get a little backstory through the interactions that she's basically she's from the Florida Everglades that was exposed to this immense amount of pesticides, and she just took on this immense knowledge of bug life, and therefore it's just ingrained to her, and so she has this persona of Vermin, and it's just larger than life exterminator is basically what it basically boils down to. But she plays off of it so well. She's got some of the best lines, just one-liners, especially during the attack on the school. Just to her actions, her mannerisms, and the fact that she's just like completely off the wall. Because when they run in and they see this guy like strung up and he's like skinned, and they're like, "Who could do that?" And she just pops out and goes and just kind of like waves. And you're like, "Oh my God, this bitch is freaking crazy."
Yeah.
But in the best way possible.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think Axel is my favorite of the new characters who's introduced, and I am so glad they hint that he is returning. We get 2 post-credit scenes in the at the end. One about where Sweet Tooth has ended up, and yeah, we've barely even talked about Sweet Tooth, who was brought to us once again by the body acting of Samoa Joe and the voice acting of Will Arnett, who is still one of my favorite comedians and voice actors. So mad that they're replacing him as the lead or as the host of Lego Masters for Nick Cannon, who's a good host, but the dude has no personality whatsoever compared to Will Arnett.
But he's got like 15 kids. He's got to pay child support somehow.
Yeah, no kidding. Will Arnett's actually got a movie coming out that's directed by Bradley Cooper that he co-wrote, which I'm really excited to see. I'm looking forward to that. Bradley Cooper never has yet to disappoint with his films that he's directed. And I love Will Arnett. So I'm very interested to see what these two can bring together. So we got that. But yeah, we got Sweet Tooth, who's still got Stu dragging that poor dude around, and who pretty much just gets into the tournament. It's hilarious because he gets into the tournament because he has the idea to like challenge anyone, because he's getting tired that every time he thinks he's established himself as the big name murderer in the area, they're like, "Oh no, there's someone else bigger than you." And he actually goes, "It's like freaking whack-a-mole out here."
Yeah. And the character of Stu is great. I loved him as Stingray and Cobra Kai.
Mm-hmm.
Just seeing him as Stu in this, it just builds on how great this guy is and how the comedic acting is, especially when they're at Diesel City and they're having the orgy and they bring him out and he's tied up and then he finally just loses it and snaps and goes on a murder spree, and he goes out and he's like, got Sweet Tooth and tells him, he goes, "Yeah, I killed everybody. There's lots of sex." He's like, ho.
I don't want to hear about that.
I don't want to hear about that. But I'm glad. But tell me more about the murder. and you're like, and you're just like, oh my god, because like Stu is just this likable guy who's with Sweet Tooth because of a mishap in season one, and he befriended Sweet Tooth.
Well,
And
befriended is a loose term. I'd say it's more like I'm on your good side, and I know if I get on your bad side, you'll probably kill me. So let's just stay on your good side.
Right, that's the way to be friends. Not all friends.
Yeah, that's a good way to be friends. If I stay your friend, you won't kill me, right?
Some friendships are out of necessity, but you see that. Then you see a little bit of Stu's arc in this, and it's fun because you see him as mild mannered. Then you see him go off and go on a murder spree. Then you see him reconnect with his former friend and the challenges that they are. And then he's kind of torn between his friend and Sweet Tooth because he's built a legit friendship with Sweet Tooth and relationship where they're like crazy together.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of balance each other out. And then you see the past come back, and he's like, you actually see him getting torn. And another thing is, I want to call this out, the all the references in the high school scene,
Yes.
the Dumb and Dumber reference, seeing Stu and Sweet Tooth dressed up as in the tuxedos from Dumb and Dumber was a highlight of that scene. You talked about how much you liked Axel, which Axel was probably one of my favorite characters, but Mayhem also was a great character and a great addition to this, especially about the midpoint season where you see who she really is and where that actually came from and how it ties into Axel and how it ties into Quiet and John. And you see that she's just not a kid that is a stowaway. She has meaning and she is in this, and you're like blown away by how it was seamlessly woven in. And I don't feel that she was shoehorned in. I felt that the story that they gave her and how it organically was woven in was a huge testament to the writing team.
Sorry, somebody's apparently outside going out of the neighbor's house, and yeah, I got a Labrador. Mayhem's also a great character. It's so funny that because she starts off so annoying, she infiltrates the dolls camp, and this is a girl who lies through her teeth. Every word out of her mouth, it's like, I've got a body count. I'm a murder slut, and she's like, it's like, I'm the best driver on the West Coast. She's never driven before. She can't even freaking read. Just like, put it in drive. The D. I hit D. That's an R.
Yeah. And the fact and like when you see and a great scene with that is when she's learned how to drive, and then they encounter Axel, and it's just
this wasn't on the final exam.
and she's like thrust into that moment, and Quiet's just freaking out, and then when she has to actually kill somebody, and she gets the new car, and it's like, Mayhem, motherfucker.
Yeah, she basically gets Knight Rider mixed with Herbie the Love Bug.
Yeah, it actually is something that is cool because I mean the car in Twisted Metal is actually really close to that and has a lot of similarities, and the character portrayal of the car in that is pretty cool. So,
I really enjoyed it. And she saves the hard drive. So Quattro could come back. Quattro, for those listening, is the name of that she basically designates the car. She saves the hard drive. She still got it. We could see Quattro come back in the next season.
Yeah, how season 3 plays out is going to be interesting.
So this show, you would think that the pacing on the show would be kind of slow, especially because it's not even until episode 5 that the tournament begins. But
Right.
my God, every episode is so much fun. Episode 4, we have them infiltrating Diesel City and what they think is just a big buyer's lot of weapons, only to find out they've essentially stumbled into a giant orgy.
Right.
And I love how they have to try to fake it to get through because they're like, oh, yeah, do it. I got to get to the web. Yeah, just say there is something just truly hilarious about those who have to awkwardly try to be sexy. We talked, we discussed when we reviewed Resident Alien season 4, the scene where Alan Tudyk is now a different alien playing him, and he assumes that Asta wants to mate with him. So it's like, okay, now we need you to do the most awkward mating dance ever. Like I said, just something about that always makes me. There's nothing funny about someone trying to think or thinking that they can be sexy and they can't.
And who can forget the greatest part of the trip to Diesel City is Sweet Tooth's cape.
What did I write? Curse this high quality velvet.
Sweet Tooth and his cape were highlights of Diesel City. I mean, every episode had something, a nugget of fun, and it didn't. And I don't feel that it dragged any this season. Season 1, I felt that we hit a couple of low points, but I think that even the low points of this season were above par because the story was always advancing. There was nuggets being planted for later episodes and everything. And what was it? The reincarnated baby.
Yeah. Our Father who art a baby.
Yeah. The reincarnated baby that knew how to kill. That was a thing that then you get the wishing well that I laughed because I kept wondering where they was going with it when Calypso made them drink from the well, and
then you find out Sweet Tooth freaking cheated.
Yeah, then it shows that Sweet Tooth pissed in it, and you're like, okay, that's a pretty funny callback. Because Calypso has, and we learned that Calypso has some kind of ingenious telekinetic power of some sort.
Yeah, so there's a lot to still unpack about Calypso. I'm thinking he's a demon, the way we see him climbing out of the well from Puritan times. He obviously has magic powers, the way he just, we see him, at first it's like, is he really magic? And then you see a lot of the shit he does, like, oh, no, he actually does have magic powers. Okay, we're going full in on this. We're going full Galactus. Good to know.
Well, and I think you're onto something there. I think he has some supernatural powers, demonic powers, because we do see Minion, which is a huge callback to the game. Sometimes Minion is a final boss, sometimes it's a mini boss before you get to the final boss in the later stage of the games. But getting introduced to Minion kind of opens up that way of thinking a lot, because we see the Puritan when he comes out of the well, the Puritans, and then you see him fast forward, that we talked about earlier. You see him in the 90s pitching Twisted Metal as a television show to NBC
with a crappy PowerPoint. The graphic designer in me was rolling over laughing from that horrible graphic. It's like, you could drive up the Eiffel Tower, which, yes, I know that's from the second game.
Yeah. And then fast forward to the post-apocalyptic era of Calypso, and you're like, okay, what the hell is going on? And you even see Calypso interacting with John before he became quote unquote Calypso.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that gets called back to, and that gets referenced and it builds into the story. That's why it's got me so intrigued on season 3 of where they're going to go Hopefully, we get a better backstory with Calypso, and then you see the heinous act that he causes to turn everybody against Quiet and John,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like, okay, I hope they're not painting themselves into a corner here, but if they are, I want to see how they get out of it.
Absolutely. Side note, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but a great callback to the first season. We have the insiders now versus the outsiders. We have the
Mhm.
United Treaty of Insiders, UTI. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And the spokeswoman who's talking, if you look at her necklace, it's made of eyeballs, which is a great callback to the slave owners in the first season who were cutting off and wearing the body parts of their slaves. Because at first I was just like, that's an interesting, those are eyes. Okay. She's part of that group. So I am curious where they're going to go with that, especially since they've introduced so many fan favorite characters. Again, it's like we know Axel's coming back. We know there could be another Raven. Is there going to be another Mr. Grimm, or is he going to come back? We know Sweet Tooth is still alive. Side note, Mr. Grimm's death I am ranking as the best death in the entire season. The way Sweet Tooth picks him, I was like, you'll always just be a pathetic clown, but everyone will know my name. Oh my God, that scene was awesome.
Yeah, and that's a testament to Will Arnett and Samoa Joe. I mean, that's difficult to pull off. Having a body actor and a voice actor being two completely different people.
Mm-hmm.
So to pull that off is amazing, and I have to give kudos to both of them to be able to synchronize the body movements plus the voice acting is great, and the death scene is very, very interesting, and it kind of caught me off guard because I was like half paying attention when they was fighting, and I was like, okay, so this is going to go down. They're not going to kill Sweet Tooth off, so I know that. And then you just get that line, and you're like, oh shit. And then you see what happens. You're like, oh wow, yeah, that happened. Okay, maybe I need to pay attention. Maybe there's some Easter eggs, and there's the Easter eggs sprinkled throughout this.
Oh hell yeah! Although
Everywhere.
I do have to also I also have to add after that awesome death scene. I love Calypso's line. I want to see that on an instant replay. Oh wait, I can.
Yeah, about that time it shows it back up on the video board. But yeah, I mean it's interesting because we've already had the tournament, so and that's what Twisted Metal is the tournament. So I'm curious how they're going to go from migrating this into, because I mean I figured the combination that they was going for was a huge tournament. Now, do you have another tournament? Do you have just them on the run? I'm intrigued.
Calypso wanted them to go worldwide. Maybe this is now it's a worldwide chase to catch him.
Yeah, but I mean, I think if they try to expand it too quick like that, I think that you run into the issue of things being too broad. So I think what may happen is you start getting at some point in season 3 we see a Twisted Metal in a different part of the world. That way you kind of, and it's like, and Calypso gets mad, and then you could culminate it into every one of these, basically, like, because we always know that an American show always gets international spinoffs, or there's an international show that gets an American spinoff. And then Calypso just brings all the winners from the internationals to have them in a Twisted Metal contest with John and Quiet's fate in the balance. I would love to see that happen.
Definitely. Could be really good. And yeah, this show has some of the best action I have seen in a TV show in ages. Yes, there's a couple of scenes where the CGI is a little bit lacking. There's a couple of scenes of blood splatter. It's like, okay, that was definitely added in later, but it is still so much fun. I mean, again, the tournament doesn't start till episode 5, but it literally starts with a race synced to Rob Zombie's Dragula. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like jumping on my couch, getting excited. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that it's still a famous phrase from the WWE currently. I know it's all gas, no brakes.
Mm-hmm.
It is very intense. You do get some slowdown things, but the action picks right back up. Even when
all gas, no brakes. I really should have used that for tonight's tagline.
we might have got a cease and desist from Triple H.
You know what I have heard about? Okay, not so much Triple H, but I have heard that the WWE has trouble with bots going after anything that could remotely be associated with them. So it's not like they send the cease and desist orders, but apparently a lot of bots for those low-level law firms go after that kind of stuff. I heard this one story about this guy. He did a story on the history of the M&Ms, the candy, and he got flagged and he said it was for the WWE for, I can't remember what the name of the team. There was like an M&M wrestling team.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, okay, this is a misunderstanding. No, it's not related. Please drop the cease and desist. The bot wouldn't do it. It's like, clearly they're not related, but.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that's the world we live in. And hopefully the world we live in Twisted Metal 3 is something that's going to be on another level of batshit insanity.
Definitely. I mean, in episode 8, we get the Apocalypse 9, which was apparently supposed to be in one of the games of Twisted Metal. It was an abandoned concept. They couldn't figure out how to make it work. And one of my favorite notes in here, why did the Apocalypse 9 look like crash test dummies? Addendum. Wait, they're playing Crash Test Dummies. When they start playing the music of the Crash Test Dummies, I actually was laughing so hard I was crying. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm sorry, moments like that where you can clearly see that the production team loves their job and loves doing this kind of stuff. Those are the moments that make these shows so much fun, and I love watching them.
Yeah, and the fact that, I mean, and to dovetail off this, Anthony Mackie in the Marvel Universe was okay, but him being able to spread out to this has basically not let people sour on him as much as they typically would on a Marvel failure. I mean, a la She-Hulk, Shang-Chi. Do I need to go on? The Immortals.
You mean the Eternals?
Yeah, the Eternals. Yeah, I mean, do we need to talk about any of those? But anyway,
please don't. Okay, I have to hear about it from Robert every time we discuss a Disney entity on Damn You Hollywood.
I mean, I don't even know if he has the right to the shield. But anyway,
no, not again.
But that would have been a cool Easter egg if we would have seen a Captain America shield somewhere throughout this season 2. I would have lost my shit.
I don't think even NBC's got the power to pull those kind of strings. But you're absolutely right. Anthony Mackie is so much fun. He's got great comedic timing. He's not just a good action star. As we've seen, even if you're not a fan of the recent Captain America movie, we do have him from Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and he was amazing in all of those. So, he is a great actor, regardless of just how badly Disney's been botching everything. And he's funny as hell in this.
He has this he has this persona about him that a lot of people don't realize is he has a lot of quick-witted quibs, and he gets to show it here where he's under a lot of constraint in the Marvel movies. And he gets this, I think that we're in Twisted Metal, we're seeing a little bit more of his personality and of what it's like just to be him in everyday life. And the character kind of mirrors that, and he brings a lot of his stuff to the character. Excuse me. So, yeah. And just to talk about, and I know we probably should be wrapping up here soon.
Mm-hmm.
Just to talk about some of the actors. Quiet is a nice, fun addition to this. Her and Mackie have great chemistry on scene. Even when they're fighting, they have great chemistry. And you could just tell that they kind of click together.
Mm-hmm.
Mayhem is great. Axel is phenomenal. And then, I mean, even like throwaway characters like, what was it, Lady Frost? Or Mrs. Frost? Or
Frostbite.
Coldheart?
Frostbite. Yeah.
Frostbite.
Yeah. Even, she's only got like, I think like 10 lines total in this whole movie or in this whole show, but she leaves an impression. For the record, also, we should add credit to the makeup and costume department in this. These characters all look incredible. And
they look a lot like their video game counterparts. I mean, they're pretty much source material accurate. Hi, Jesse. But yeah, I mean, it's those things that bring that to that, because you got a lot of fanfare. You not only have to put a show out for a general audience, but you also have to please the fan. And we know how bad toxic fandom is. You see it at cons constantly. I see it, through everyday media and everything that I'm involved in. Even through sports sides, you see the toxic fandom, and to appease a broad crowd while remaining true to your core is a huge balancing act that I think they did really well with this series thus far.
Really excited. Now, a third season has not been announced or greenlit yet. The creator has said that he's really hopeful. Really is hoping, because he's got a lot of ideas for where they can go with this. Now, I should add that at the end of season 1, when we reviewed this, there was no notice about season 2, but we did see just how great the following had grown. It was one of the most popular. It was like the most popular show on Peacock since it had been launched. And the second season has a 92% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, 74 out of 100 on Metacritic. Rotten Tomatoes AI generator says, putting the pedal to Twisted Metal, the second season gates momentum as it revs up the race and raises the stakes. A little cliche, but I would actually agree with it. Yeah, this is one of the most watched streaming originals. It's so much fun. If it doesn't get greenlit for a third season, I'm going to be very, very shocked. And if you're a fan, whether or not you're a fan of the game, I highly recommend checking this out on Peacock. Both seasons are available. It's fun, especially if you're a fan of just gratuitous violence, car chases, campy as hell humor, over-the-top mayhem, explosions, and ice cream trucks that have a giant clown's head on top of them that shoot rockets out of the eyes. Have I mentioned how much I love that they included that detail on the Sweet Bot?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to bring up as we wrap this up?
I'm just curious. The fact that just want to talk about the one after credit scene involving Sweet Tooth and the Easter egg that's planted there with Charlie Kane, which fans of the game will be ecstatic with that Easter egg being planted, and it opens up a huge door to get a lot more story with Sweet Tooth and to see how that plays out. But outside of that, I think it's been a phenomenal effort. One of the very few home runs that we've seen in video game adaptations, or even comic book, or adaptations. I mean, looking forward to see how it plays out. Everything I'm reading right now is saying that it's just a matter of working out the financials is what's holding everything up on season 3. So we should look for it to be released in sometime late 26, early 27.
Definitely. So fingers crossed, folks. But yeah, again, go check this out. It is a lot of fun. I would say it's one of our favorite shows we reviewed here on this show. I highly recommend it. And I think that's going to wrap up our discussion for tonight. So let's go ahead and move on to plugs. Like I mentioned earlier, Jayson, I know I will have you back on here in not 1 week, but 2 weeks, as we bring back the Unholy Trinity, you, me, and Robert, to discuss the second Stephen King adaptation of the year, The Long Walk. Really, Stephen King's getting 3 freaking adaptations this year?
It's the rule of 3. So let's see how this one plays out. We're kind of still out on a few others.
Well, I mean, we did The Monkey, and we covered that, and we got The Long Walk, and we got The Running Man coming out later this year, which we're not doing for the Unholy Trinity. I think that one's just going to be a general damn you Hollywood, but I am begging Robert to let me in on that one because that looks like so much fun.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that it's Stephen King. It can either go, The Monkey was good, The Long Walk is to be determined, and Running Man could either go there. I don't think there's going to be any gray area. It's going to be beloved or it's going to be trash.
Absolutely. Hey, as long as The Long Walk doesn't scar you like our review of Together did, right?
I still have nightmares. To Become One actually came on the radio the other day, and I legitimately almost threw my phone out the window. I don't even know how it got on my Spotify, but it's proof that our phones constantly listen to us.
Yes, it is.
It popped up, and what the bad part about it was, it came on right after Rough Riders Anthem by DMX, and
Oh my god!
that is a complete consciousness. But with that being said, I have yet to throw my phone out the window. I will see you in 2 weeks, and it's been fun. Highly recommend seeing both seasons of Twisted Metal and watching them over and over, because each watch you'll get another Easter egg you missed on the first viewing.
Absolutely. The night after The Long Walk, Jesse Starcher and I will be doing the second part of our Stranger Things retrospective. We're going to be looking at season 2. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. Any other plugs you wanted to throw in? Any other shows you got coming up?
No, I don't have nothing till I'm with you, and then I'm free, I think, till the end of November. So I don't have anything to plug coming up.
All right. Well, this is actually kind of a weird month for me because, I have very few shows until October, in which I'm going to be, starting another crazy busy season. And as far as Honeysuckle Rose Creations, where fashion meets fandom at the intersection of geek and chic, this is actually one of the first months in ages where I have very few shows. Well, actually, I have no shows here in September, but I'm okay with that because it's going to be giving me some time to work on restocking our stores and our stock for the cons. So, not to mention, those of you who watch frequently, I always talk about how we have shows on Etsy and Handmade at Amazon. Well, I just found out that Handmade at Amazon said, you know what, we're going to put your shop on hiatus, and I have no idea why. So they're about to get a very angry phone call from me to tech support saying, you mind telling me why you don't have my shop up? What did I do to piss you people off this time? So in the meantime, we are on Etsy. And of course, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky Screw You, Twitter, and TikTok. As you can see here. Like I said, we're taking this month off from cons. We are going to be heading to Galaxy Con in St. Louis, coming out here in October. We're going to be doing Twin Cities Con in Minneapolis. It's one of our favorite shows to do. Maybe seeing Mr. Jayson Teasley at that one as he takes his daughter to see Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich. And we'll be wrapping up the end of the year with Planet Anime here in our town of Kansas City. Just found out they're getting some of the voice actors from K-pop Demon Hunters. Really excited. Yeah, you cannot escape that movie. I know you can't.
I've avoided it thus far. So.
Well, those of you who haven't, go ahead and check out our TV party tonight. That was me and Mr. David Wright talking about it and discussing where where K-pop Demon Hunters went right, where Disney has been floundering with their last few films, and what happens when you actually make a movie that you want to tell instead of, hey, let's see what the algorithm says. And I think my two little minions in crime here are saying it's time to wrap it up. So for myself, for Mr. Jayson Teasley, thank you for tuning in. And in the words of Calypso, remember, cheat codes are for pussies.